Hi everyone, so welcome back to Clayton's Imaginarium for another retrospective review. This time we're looking at a film that was released back in 1987 and it's called No Way Out. Now, this film is essentially a neo-noir action thriller. It was directed by Roger Donaldson and it stars Kevin Costner, Gene Hackman, Will Patton and Sean Young. And it's also based on a novel that was released in 1946 known as The Big Clock. And that was written by Kenneth Fearing. But this is actually essentially a remake of that story. I believe this is the third iteration of this story. So it was previously filmed as The Big Clock in 1948. Then they essentially... another release in 1976 came out known as Police Python 357, I believe. And then we get to this release known as No Way Out. So what is this film about? Well, essentially, the film is about a naval lieutenant known as, I believe he's a lieutenant commander, known as Tom Farrell, and he's played by Kevin Costner. And essentially meets a young woman known as Susan Atwell, who's played by Sean Young. And essentially they have this passionate fling, and but it turns out that essentially Kevin Costner's character finds out that there's also, or she has some form of connection to the Defense Secretary, who is played by Gene Hackman. I believe the Defense Secretary is David Bryce. And so he is also romantically involved with the character of Susan Atwell. And essentially, without going into too much detail, a certain series of events happens that she ends up essentially being wind up dead. But Kevin Costner's character is put in charge of her murder investigation. And then as time goes along, he begins to uncover certain shocking clues and events and, details of essentially of his encounter with her. And so making him a suspect as well in the investigation, and him trying to kind of also cover his tracks whilst he's also investigating. So it makes for a really nail-biting thriller at times, and you're kind of, really hoping that he can, basically get to the bottom of everything before everything is kind of pinned on him or whatever. But I won't go too much detail because there's obviously a lot more to the story, and there's a lot of twists and turns in this. And then, these are retrospective reviews are kind of like recommendations really of older films that maybe by modern audiences have maybe been kind of I guess forgotten or a bit lost in the mix. And so this is a way of just kind of bringing these films back to the surface, so to speak, so that if people haven't heard of them or haven't seen them before, then they know about it from these reviews. So that's the whole purpose of these reviews. And so essentially that's the main plot of the film. And but there are some big twists and turns throughout, and also without spoiling anything, there's a big sort of kind of reveal at the end as well, which I think is tremendous. I actually think that, now don't get me wrong, there's people there are audiences, I guess a certain part of the audience that may not like this film, but I quite honestly think that this film has that bit of genius in it. It's very well crafted, very well put together, and it has, also it's very well edited as well, in terms of, because with any thriller, or action thriller, it's all about the editing at the end of the day. Like, if the editing is not there and the pacing's not there, the tension's gone essentially. And now, don't get me wrong, there's other aspects, with sound and also what you're seeing visually, but it's really about how you're cutting and when to cut to essentially create that tension in a film and keep people kind of guessing and on the edge. So yeah, this as I say, this came out back in 1987, and I had the pleasure of watching this actually fairly recently, but I'd only seen parts of it, but I actually finally got to see the film in its entirety. And yeah, I highly recommend this film if you haven't seen it. Now, I mean, if I had to rate this film, I would say I would give it probably a 4.5 out of 5 stars. If I was, and the reason I knock off a half is that it's one of those films that, yes, you can rewatch it, but because of the big reveal, as I've mentioned, which again I will not spoil because it's a big part of the film. Once you kind of know that reveal, going back to this film, I guess I mean, the one thing I would say is that you if you have seen it before and you go back to it, you know what the reveal is, but you start to, on your second watch, you start to view this film very differently to the way you viewed it the first time. So it does have that aspect of rewatch value, but at the same time, because you know the reveal, it kind of also, its rewatch value kind of diminishes slightly because of that. But I guess it's one of those films that you could watch and then maybe you don't watch it for a while, and then you kind of maybe you're lucky that you kind of, I don't know, forget certain details of it. But yeah, this was during the sort of era of films that were distributed by Orion Pictures, and they were a great distributor at the time. I remember, when you think of the amount of great films that they distributed over the years, this was definitely one of them. But yeah, the running time's about 114 minutes, so it comes in just under 2 hours, which is again just is really kind of average film length, right? Hour and a half, 2 hours. So, yeah, so that's basically essentially a review for No Way Out from 1987. If you enjoyed this review, I'd really appreciate the likes. I just want to thank everyone so far who has commented on my videos, liked my videos, I've had some really lovely comments about my reviews, and honestly, it makes all this worthwhile. I really enjoy doing this, and seeing comments of people saying, there's no reviews out for this film, or, I remember watching this like when it came out. It's really nice, and I love seeing that and seeing the, I guess, the film fan community kind of, watch reviews and comment, and it's just, it's really nice. So thank you to everyone who has done that so far. But yeah, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and hit the bell for all notifications. It's greatly appreciated on my part. And yeah, let's keep growing this channel. There's more to come. I apologize that I was absent of late. There's been a lot going on, a lot of life events, busy with work and all that stuff. So but hopefully it's starting to settle a bit now. So I'm hoping to kind of hopefully get a bit more of a consistent schedule with the uploads. But anyway, that's it for now. And yeah, I thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.